Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to the WWE 2K15 Universe Mode, and this, which is going to be our next episode of the Attitude Era's Friday Night Raw is War. And as you can see, it's also going to be our last weekly show before we hit our first major pay-per-view, SummerSlam. Let's have a quick look at what we've got set for you tonight. That's what I'm trying to say. We have the finals to our Tag Team's #1 Contenders tournament, as the APA take on Shelton, Benjamin and Charlie Haas in a Tag Team Extreme Rules match. Going to see Sheamus take on Scott Hall. I've made a little bit of a cock-up with my booking for SummerSlam, so one of our matches is going to take place this evening, as Kane takes on Chris Jericho in an Extreme Rules match. The Ultimate Warrior takes on Hulk Hogan. And our main event again will be the Animal Batista versus the Beast, Brock Lesnar. So let's get straight into our first match. So our first match is going to be the final of the #1 Contenders Tag Team Tournament, as the APA, Farooq and Bradshaw, take on the world's greatest tag team, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. And here we go. We know that one of these teams will face Edge and Christian at SummerSlam for the Tag Team Championships. They've both done a great job to get here. I do have who they've faced here somewhere. Here it is. The world's greatest tag team have defeated Randy Orton and Batista, and then the Jersey Triad as well to get here. And the APA defeated the former champions, the NWO, and then the British Bruisers to get here. So they both got through the tricky matches, and now they know that one more victory here will see them wrestling at SummerSlam for the championships. As it looks like Farooq's the first one on the outside looking for some hardware. And he's got himself a chair, but it gives a chance for Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas to work together on JBL. Farooq just dropping that chair. Comes across to help out his partner. I wonder whether having that chair would have helped his partner a bit more though. Farooq now with a front chancery on Charlie Haas, and that big boot to the head and the clubbing blows over the back. Farooq rolling Haas over for the pin. JBL had Shelton Benjamin controlled there. Shelton Benjamin springs straight back up to his feet, and the adrenaline seems to be hitting Shelton Benjamin. There's the back kick. Shelton Benjamin with that great suplex. Haas has the ankle lock locked into Farooq. 1, 2. No, only a 2 count. I think Charlie Haas might have accidentally broke that up while trying to attack Farooq there, you know. Farooq catches Farooq catches Shelton Benjamin with that backdrop, and there's another spine buster as well. Farooq going for the pin. Charlie Haas makes it just in time. Running DDT, and Farooq hit that spine buster on Shelton Benjamin again. There's that big shoulder tackle by Farooq. Now taunting the crowd, and I think Farooq maybe should have gone for a pin there. Another spine buster by Farooq on Shelton Benjamin, and Farooq is really just destroying Benjamin with his spine busters. There's 4 in a row. Bradshaw going for the pin on Charlie Haas. And that's it. Farooq and Bradshaw are going on to face Edge and Christian for the Tag Team Championships at SummerSlam. After demolishing the world's greatest tag team here, Farooq must have hit so many spine busters on Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin's spine must be in pieces after this match. It's a neck breaker by Bradshaw, and there's another spine buster by Farooq, and I think it was the neck breaker that actually finished the match off. So we now know that JBL and Farooq and Bradshaw, the APA, the Acolytes from the Ministry, whatever you want to call them, they're going on to face Edge and Christian at SummerSlam for the Tag Team Championships. And I'm just trying to think now what sort of match we can put them in. I'm thinking maybe a TLC. I'm not entirely sure whether it will work for Farooq and Bradshaw, but this entire tournament's been based on Extreme Rules matches and stuff like that, so we can't just have a simple match at SummerSlam. I'm thinking TLC between these lot. And our second match this evening will be Sheamus taking on Scott Hall. And here we go. Both these guys were included in the European tournament, which you can find on this playlist. It was a 2-day tournament. We had 16 guys involved. And the final two were, of course, Kane and Mark Henry, which will fight now at SummerSlam this Sunday to be crowned the first ever European champion. It's a bit of a shame. I was hoping the likes of Sheamus or the British Bulldog or Fit Finlay or William Regal were going to win. I'd like to see the first ever European champion actually being European. That would have been great. But I'm sure whoever wins between Kane and Mark Henry will be defending that belt very soon. Not that they're bad champions, I'm just not a big fan of either of those two being a European champion, to tell the truth. So yeah, we'll definitely be seeing championship defences from both of those two. Whoever wins, they'll both become fighting champions, I'm pretty sure. There's a backdrop there by Sheamus. Brings Scott Hall back to his feet. And Scott Hall was surprisingly got knocked out in that competition. I thought he was one of the favourites, but I also thought that Chris Jericho was one of the favourites as well. And Scott Hall defeated Jericho in the first round. So there was surprise all round, really. Sheamus now gets on the back of Hall. And Hall with that belly-to-belly slam. Sorry if you can hear my mouse clicking. Something's just popped up on my screen. I need to get rid of it. Just so I can make sure I can still record. Hall now bringing Sheamus back up to his feet, and the two guys fighting again. I bet that file's too big, isn't it? I bet that file is too big. Yep, that file's too big. Elbow drop there by Sheamus. Catches Scott Hall in the headlock, then just a punch to the face. Now just a blow to the back. There you go, that's all gone now. I'm back with you. Sheamus brings Scott Hall up, and there's a fall-away slam. Ironic, because that's one of Scott Hall's favourite moves as well, is that fall-away slam. Sheamus with the elbow drop. I'm so glad I got this pop filter for my microphone, because the amount of times I spit on it is unbelievable. Big boot to the stomach there by Scott Hall, and now really just starting to take advantage of the grounded Sheamus. Remember, Sheamus is part of the Evolution formation alongside Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And of course Scott Hall is part of the NWO with himself and Kevin Nash, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, and of course the Big Show as well. I'm thinking maybe we should start to look to do a feud at some point, maybe after SummerSlam, between, say, Evolution and the NWO, maybe. Yeah, I'm sure we could do something like that, or even the Ministry in the NWO, or even Ministry in Evolution. I think Ministry and Evolution could work quite well because there's roughly the same amount of guys in there as Sheamus going for the pin off the backbreaker. And now Sheamus has Scott Hall up. I've just realised how many moves are similar between these two. Sheamus hits his Celtic Cross, also known as Razor Ramon's Razor's Edge, into the pin. 1, 2, no, only a 2 count. Ice cream van. There's an ice cream van. That means I'm going to have to put trousers on. Oh, I'll leave it. I've got ice cream in the freezer. Sheamus gets back up to his feet. Scott Hall back around the back of him now. Sheamus dropping Scott Hall in that front suplex. Scott just choking Sheamus now. Bringing him up to his feet. Boot stomach and now just an axe handle as well, and a big clothesline to the back of the neck of Sheamus. Hall just slamming Sheamus' arm into the mat as well now. Sheamus trips Hall up. Drags him into the centre of the ring. And goes for the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. This match continues. Razor catches Sheamus with that bulldog. And now a hip toss by Razor as well. And a pulling Sheamus into the centre of the ring. Goes for the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Sheamus kicks out. Sheamus now catches Razor with that belly-to-belly slam. Going for a pin of his own. 1, 2. Again, only a 2 count. A lot of close falls in this one. As Sheamus goes over the top rope and drops to the ground. Sheamus slides back in now, though. And there's the sleeper hold by Razor Ramon. Scott Hall on Sheamus. Can Sheamus withstand it? No, Sheamus taps out, and Scott Hall victorious here over the young man from Evolution. It's exactly the result that Scott Hall was looking for here. I'd say he's had a bit of a rough time losing his tag team championships a few weeks back, and now he seems to have things back on track with his victory over Sheamus. And it wasn't easy. Sheamus caught him with that Celtic Curse backbreaker and his Celtic Cross Powerbomb. However, Scott Hall just showed his resilience and continued going into eventually locking in this sleeper hold submission, to which Sheamus had no choice but to tap out from. Great victory for Scott Hall, as I've said. It's definitely going to push him at the rankings as well. I do actually have Scott Hall penciled in for something at SummerSlam, so you'll have to be there to check that one out, because I think this is going to be a great match. So be sure to check that one out. It will be on this Sunday. And this will give him great momentum boost going into that. And now our next match is going to be Kane taking on Chris Jericho. And here we go. As I've said, this is a match that was going to take place at SummerSlam. However, due to things out of our control, like Kane getting to the finals of the European Championship tournament, means that Kane's going to be tied up with that championship match at SummerSlam. Therefore, I've moved this match a bit earlier to this last episode of Raw before that pay-per-view. This feud basically started off very strangely. I think it was because of a, if you excuse my language, I think it was a cock-up with the game. Because I set up a feud between Shawn Michaels and CM Punk. And our very first Raw of the month, it was CM Punk versus Kane. Kane won the match. And then Chris Jericho came out and attacked Kane with a steel pipe. Which obviously made no sense because that wasn't a feud that was set up. But then from that, the game just stopped the feud between Shawn Michaels and CM Punk and just left it as an open blank space. So we are still doing that as our main event for SummerSlam. It will be Shawn Michaels versus CM Punk for the WWF Championship. But now we have this added extra match here between Kane and Chris Jericho. Again, I've got Chris Jericho penciled in for something at SummerSlam. It's going to be a great match, that one, so be sure you don't miss it. It's going to be a great event, actually. I've got the card in front of me now. And, yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. Great card to move into our first major pay-per-view with. I know we've had pay-per-views in the past, but the obviously SummerSlam is one of the big ones. It's Kane now just slamming the face of Jericho into that announce table. Kane now throws Jericho over his head on the outside of the ring. Jericho's back hits the ground hard. Remember, this is Extreme Rules, so there's no countouts and no disqualifications, but pinfalls and submissions must take place within the confines of the ring. As Jericho now slamming Kane's face into the ring. Kane throws Jericho back in. And there's the big boot to the side of the head of Jericho. And now Kane searching under the weapon for a... Sorry, under the ring for a weapon, not under the weapon for a ring. Looks like he's pulled out a baseball bat, but Jericho caught him just as he was bringing it out, so he's dropped the baseball bat. Jericho again slides out and takes Kane down. Again, still fighting out round by this announce table. They're getting closer again. Jericho with that dragon screw. Brings Kane back up to his feet. Or catches him with that running forearm. Russian leg sweep on the outside by Jericho now as well. See, Jericho's someone that I think we should push a bit more in the next month for this universe mode as well. We have seen him. Go for the. Sorry, he was the Intercontinental Champion to start this universe mode. He did lose that at the first pay-per-view to Randy Orton. Since then, he's not been used an awful lot. Like I said, he was in the European tournament. So it was in the European Championship tournament, unsuccessful there. Lost in the first round to Scott Hall, which obviously he weren't very happy about at all. So I think it's about time we gave him a bit more of a push. Also, Triple H we haven't used in a proper feud as well, so maybe he'll get a chance in the next, the next month after obviously SummerSlam. We can set up our new feuds. As Taker has Jericho up on the outside. Tombstone Piledriver, and I don't know how, but it looks like he caught the announce table. The announce table broke. Jericho's bleeding. Got caught with a Tombstone Piledriver on the outside, and Jericho's back up though. Kane with a belly-to-belly slam now on the broken table. Kane brings Jericho back up to his feet. Backbreaker as well on Jericho, and Kane is dominating this match now. Some big boots to the chest. Kane brings Jericho back up to his feet. Back elbow. And there's a neck breaker as well. Big boot by Kane on the outside, and Jericho's head is really taking some damage in this match. Bleeding profusely. Kane under the ring looking for a weapon. Doesn't realise that Jericho's back up on his feet. Kane now throws Jericho into the ring. And Kane again looking for a weapon. Maybe he should be going for a pin though. Jericho throws Kane into the ring now. Come on, Jericho, just pick up the weapon that's on the floor. God, this game is annoying. Kane twisting the arm of Jericho. Jericho coming back with that step of Insuguri on Kane. Brings Kane back up to his feet, and now Jericho going for it. He gets Kane up in a powerbomb, and Jericho powerbombs Kane. Brings him back up. And a third time as well. Holy crap, Jericho showing some strength here on the outside. Hitting Kane with that trio of powerbombs. Now just throwing Kane into Michael Cole, which is something where nobody wants to be. Nobody wants to be anywhere near Michael Cole. Jericho slides back into the ring, but Kane's underneath again, looking for some weapons. And Kane now has a chair. And the amount of times Kane's pulled weapons out and he's not used a single one yet. Of course, they have gone through the announce table now. Kane. Sidewalk slam on the outside. Brings Jericho back up to his feet. And Kane again. Tombstone Piledriver on the outside. But of course, pinfalls and submissions don't count out there. He really needs to get Jericho back in the ring and pin him. But Jericho completely no-sells the Tombstone. Northern Lights suplex by Jericho on the outside. Again, Kane crashing onto the remnants of that broken table. Kane has Jericho up in a powerbomb on the outside, and surely Jericho can't last much longer in this match. Jericho throwing Kane into the middle of the ring. And there's a big boot to the side of the head. And Jericho slides in, and finally these two are back in the ring, and Jericho catches Kane straight away. He turns him into the walls of Jericho. Walls of Jericho here, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's no rope breaks in an Extreme Rules match either. Jericho breaks the hold. Went to go for that running forearm, but Kane avoids it. Then big boots the air. Kane with a pin. 1, 2. No. Only a 2 count. I thought Jericho, that should be it really, considering he's taken 2 tombstone power drives to the outside and he's bleeding quite heavily from the forehead. Jericho with that drop kick now on Kane. Jericho makes his way back to the outside. Kane catches him with that baseball slide. Jericho now with the snapmare into this, almost like a seated camel clutch, just wrenching back at the arms and the shoulders of Kane. But of course, submissions don't count on the outside of the ring. Running DDT by Kane again on that broken table. Brings Jericho back up to his feet, and surely Kane just has to get Jericho back into the ring and pin him. Jericho throws Kane back in. Come on, guys, just get back in the bloody ring. Kane with the Insiguri. I think as soon as next time someone goes for a pin, surely that's going to be enough. Jericho throws Kane back into the ring. Jericho looking for a weapon. Kane slides back out. We're stuck in some sort of endless paradox here. Just the same thing happens over and over bloody again, doesn't it? Somebody throws somebody into the ring. Somebody misses trying to do the apron move. Then somebody goes into the ring for a weapon and the other person comes out and catches them. Insiguri by Jericho. Brings Kane back up to his feet. Kane with a knee to the stomach. Jericho with a back elbow. Kane throws Jericho into the ring. So that was 4 reversals there without a single move in between. Big boots to the side of the head of Kane. Come on, slide into the ring, Kane. Slide into the ring. Kane slides into the ring. Catches Jericho. There's the... No. Chokeslam reversed into the DDT. Jericho went to go for the springboard splash, but Kane set up and Jericho missed it. Jericho with a quick roll up on Kane. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Kane kicks out. Jericho went for the dropkick and Kane avoided it. Kane brings Jericho back up to his feet. Backbreaker. Kane goes to the pin. 1, 2, and no. I thought there was going to be a 3 count there for sure. Jericho's taking a hell of a lot of damage here now. Jericho catches Kane again in the centre of the ring. Rolls him over. Walls of Jericho. Walls of Jericho by Jericho and Kane taps out. And Chris Jericho's victorious here eventually in this Extreme Rules match. It was a sidewalk slam on the outside, one of Kane's signature moves. That was the first Walls of Jericho. There you go, the first Walls of Jericho is not a replay, but that thing where he throws him over the head is definitely a replay. This is where Jericho reversed the chokeslam into a DDT. Kane going for the pin. Only for the 2 count though. And this is the second Walls of Jericho where Kane eventually had no choice but to tap out. The pain was just too much. Chris Jericho victorious here. Against Kane. To say both these guys are penned in for matches at SummerSlam. We know Kane will face Mark Henry for the European Championship, but you'll have to tune in on Sunday to see what's in store for Chris Jericho. And trust me, you won't be disappointed. Now, our next match here this evening will be the Ultimate Warrior taking on Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And here we go. This has been so it's been going on now for the past few weeks between Hogan and Warrior. Really been at each other's throats, and I I must apologise, I was wrong. I said in the last video that I thought it was Warrior versus Hogan at WrestleMania 5. I was wrong. I've checked to my good friend Perry, who's the Wrestling Encyclopedia, and he's informed me it was WrestleMania 6. WrestleMania 5 was Hogan and Macho Man, I think he said. So WrestleMania 6 was Hogan versus Warrior, champion versus champion. So suplex there by Hogan. Twist the arm of Warrior. And Warrior goes all the way over. Warrior just thumped to the back of Hogan. It's an interesting feud, this one. It's two sort of retro stars trying to make it again in the 90s. Wrestling was so much different in the 80s than it was in the late 90s when these two guys... Well, I don't know when Warrior was, but Warrior was like 97, 98, I think he came back to WWF, something like that. But Hogan, obviously, he was still trying to put his gimmick over in sort of 2000 in WCW, and we all saw how that worked out. So Hogan catches Warrior now with the headlock, then the big punch to the face. Brings Warrior back up to his feet. Gets around the back. And it is incredibly warm in here at the moment. And there's the belly-to-belly slam. I think I've said before, I've got two laptops on, I've got the PlayStation on, and I have to keep the window shut, and I can't have the fan on because it makes too much noise pollution. So I'm just sat here sweltering. And there's this snapmare by Hogan and Warrior, followed by the elbow drop to the back. Hogan gets whipped into the corner by Warrior, and Warrior gets caught by Hogan, who catches Warrior with that running DDT. An elbow drop to the stomach of Warrior. Hogan brings him back up, and there's a couple of chops to the face. Now Warrior with that Saito suplex. Bringing Hogan back up, but Hogan catches him with a rake to the eyes now. Running DDT by Hogan. Hogan now brings Warrior back up to his feet again. Twists the arm. Warrior catches him with that headlock, and Hogan sends him away and brings him back with that drop toe hold. So of course this will be a match that will be taking place at SummerSlam as well this Sunday. So we do have a great card put in for you already. We're going to have Edge and Christian versus the APA in a Tag Team Championship TLC match. Of course we have Kane and Mark Henry for the European Championship. Lesnar and Batista will face each other again at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. Of course, Hogan versus Warrior, and as I've already announced, Shawn Michaels will defend his WWF Championship against CM Punk. We are also going to have an Intercontinental Championship match, and we also have one blank space for a match as well, so I'm sure we'll fill that up with something. But all will come clear as we move on into the show this Sunday. Remember, we've only got a couple of days till then. Depending on how if I upload, if I get a week ahead, that might be on now. To tell the truth. I got a week ahead a few weeks back, and I just uploaded the whole week in one go. So, yeah. That's a possibility, and there's a backbreaker there by the Ultimate Warrior. Now again, just a punches to the face of Hogan. And Warrior again just blows to the face of Hogan. Brings Hogan back up to his feet. Some strikes, but Hogan avoids them. There's the snapmare by Warrior. And it punches to the face again by Warrior on Hogan. He's really working the strikes on Hogan. Rake to the eyes now by Hogan. Warrior drops him flat on his face. Hogan back up to his feet now though. Warrior catches him with that blow across the back. Tries to hit it again, but Hogan ducks it and catches Warrior with a shoulder block. I think I said this in the last show, that putting these two together is not necessarily the greatest idea because they're both very retro superstars, should we call them? Wrestlers is the right word. Because they're quite retro wrestlers, their movesets are a lot slower than the more up-to-date guys, and it's they're a bit more boring to watch. There's Warrior again, some more strikes to the face of Hogan. Although it has been a great feud while it's lasted, I think we might do something a little bit different on Sunday, because these two guys have faced each other now in quite a few matches, and Hogan's been busted open, which doesn't surprise me, the amount of strikes to the face that Warrior's given him in this match. Trip there by Warrior. And there's a running DDT by Hogan. Warrior's fought his way back up to his feet, and say Hogan bleeding here. Warrior dropping Hogan flat on his face. Hogan pushing Warrior away, but Warrior catches him with that power slam. Boot to the stomach, and now Warrior fighting Hogan away. Warrior lifts Hogan up high in the gorilla press and drops him down hard. That could be all. 1, 2, and 3 out of nowhere. Ultimate Warrior picks up the victory with that gorilla press. Straight into the pin here. 1, 2. That was only a 2 count earlier on. That was a power slam. We always get one running reversal as a highlight. But it was this gorilla press slammed Hogan down, and Hogan was down and out for the count for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Great victory here for the Ultimate Warrior. Great for him to move into the SummerSlam pay-per-view with this momentum behind him. Definitely going to help him as he does face Hogan again, of course. Remember, that is this Sunday, SummerSlam, on this channel, on this playlist as well. And our main event here this evening will be the Animal Batista versus the Beast, Brock Lesnar. And here we go. These two guys have been destroying each other over previous weeks. We've had some really great physical battles. And I don't think this is going to be any different here this evening. Remember, again, these two will face each other at SummerSlam. And I think I've already announced that's going to be Extreme Rules, that one. I think I mentioned that last week. Just because these two guys I can see not so much in a wrestling match, but in a fight. And that's just what's going to happen at SummerSlam. Brock, they're reversing what looked to be almost like a scoop slam by... Sorry, Batista reversing Brock. I'm getting my words tied up again already. Brock now whips Batista into that corner. I don't know if I'm right here or not, but it almost looks like Batista has strap marks. Like tan strap marks on his front. Wait till he turns around and see what I mean. Looks like he's been wearing a bikini and getting a tan. Couple of back elbows. You see him? I'm sure they're there. I'm sure they're there. But Brock Lesnar gets from the back of Batista, that's what I'm trying to say. Drops Batista flat on his face. Oh, I'm getting these two guys just completely mixed up now, aren't I? Right, gonna do this right now. Gonna get this right. Batista with the chop across the chest of Brock Lesnar. Now the strikes to the face on the ground. Yeah, both of these guys, they could definitely be fighting for the championship next month, depending on how things goes. But also, they could both, at a stretch, they could both make an appearance in the main roster. Especially Lesnar. At the moment, we've got more than enough stars in the main roster to keep things going. We've done some good things here with Lesnar so far in this universe mode. Of course, he feuded in month 1 against Goldberg. And now he's getting a chance here to feud against Batista as well. So, I don't know who's going to be next on Brock Lesnar's tour. Maybe The Undertaker could be a good idea. However, I'm just trying to think through my mind now something good we can do for the next pay-per-view. I'm thinking maybe doing the feuds all around one thing, such as we could do Ministry versus Evolution. So you do APA versus Batista and Orton in a feud. You do Kane versus Triple H. And then you do Shawn Michaels for the championship against The Undertaker. So then you basically do the entire feud for the month based on the feud between those two teams, which I think could work quite well. And there's the backbreaker there by Batista on Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate. Brock Lesnar gets from the back of Batista. He hasn't taken him to Suplex City as yet. Batista catching Brock with that belly-to-belly slam. And now just a blow to the face of Batista. Brock with a knee to the stomach of Batista now, and Batista catches Brock in that front headlock, and now the big punch to the head. Batista fighting him back up to his feet though, and so Brock Lesnar fights him back up down. Getting, oh, I don't know what it is. What is it? These two, I'm going to have to stop feuding guys that names start with the same letter, because it's just killing me. Batista throws Brock Lesnar into the corner. Gets him up on his shoulder. And rolls through with him as well. Batista bringing Brock back up to his feet, and there's the big spine buster. And could we be about to see a Batista bomb maybe? No. Looks like Batista's going to go for the pin straight from the spine buster. He does. One. Only a 1 count. I thought we were going to see a Batista bomb straight from that spine buster, but... Oh, Brock with a quick roll-up. Not like him. One. Only a 1 count, though. Batista was well aware of his surroundings. Brock now... Oh, here comes Suplex City. There's the first belly-to-belly suplex of the match. Going for a pin straight from that one. Only a 1 count, though. Brock there with a Saito suplex now on Batista, who completely no-sells and gets straight back up to his feet and catches Brock. Up he goes. Batista bomb. Is that going to be enough to finish Brock Lesnar off? We've seen in the past that these two guys are not shy kicking out each other's finishers, but this is the exception. Batista defeats Brock Lesnar here via the Batista bomb. See Batista rolling through on Brock there. And catches that big spine buster. I thought he was going to go for the Batista bomb there and then. However, he held on. The right moment presented himself and he finished Brock Lesnar off. And Batista's going to take all that momentum going into SummerSlam, when these two face each other in the Extreme Rules match. So anyway guys, that is the end of this episode of the WWF Attitude Era's Friday Night Raw is War. I hope you've enjoyed it. We have now named our #1 contenders for the Tag Team Championships in the APA. Of course, we saw Scott Hall pick up a great victory against Sheamus as well. And this great victory here for Batista over Brock Lesnar. And of course that win for Chris Jericho over Kane as well. So, as I said, been a very active episode. Check out the description below and you will find a link to all of the other brands we're currently running in this universe mode. Yeah, if you're not already subscribed, please do. For more content like this, I am uploading a video at least once a day at the moment. And I have been for the last 2 months. So, I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And if you could hit the like button, that'd be even better. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.